Our main goal for today is to develop the tools to describe, to solve, and then to describe the solution set of an arbitrary linear system with any number of variables that we might want and any number of equations. So in our first meeting last week, we talked about several different perspectives that we can view what it is, what a linear system actually is. So we can look at it from an equations perspective, we can look at it from a vectors perspective, and we can look at it from an augmented matrix perspective. All three of those perspectives are going to be important and useful and valuable for us all course, all summer long. And translating in between those perspectives is, especially today, I think, going to be a useful thing to be able to do. Because the general shape of how we're going to solve linear systems of equations when we solve them by hand is going to generally be to take that system of equations and transform it into an augmented matrix. And then to do some calculations with that augmented matrix to discover what the solution set is. First of all, if the system is even consistent in the first place, and if it is consistent, what are its solutions? How many does it have, and how do we describe them? And after that process of solving, very often, and this is the step that I think students forget the most about, so I want to just flag it up front so that we don't forget it today, there's a step that involves translating from that augmented matrix back into equations again when it comes time to describe the solution set. And that's the step that I think when you forget it, students end up going off the rails with how they're trying to write their solution set. But if you remember it, it goes directly into writing the solution set that you're looking for. So that's the main goal for today. When we come out of the end of today's material / this week's material, we should have the tools to solve any linear system of equations, regardless of how wide or how tall, how many variables, how many equations. Quiz number 2 will be available in Canvas after class today. It will cover these two topics. So row operations to discover what's called the reduced row echelon form of an augmented matrix, and solution sets. So being able to describe the set of all possible solutions to a consistent system of linear equations using what we call parametric vector form. We got a little taste of that at the very end of our class a week ago. And so that's probably going to be where we pick up the story today. Also, because this is going to wrap up our first chapter, it's going to wrap up chapter E, that means that in our next class meeting, we're going to want to be able to move forward into the next chapter, which is V. And that means that there's going to be another individual readiness check for you to complete. So the two things on your agenda, besides completing the rest of the team activities this week with your team, are going to be that quiz and that individual readiness check. And then that's where we'll go forward from there.